Hi everybody, I'm Ryan, and today we're going to talk about how to sideboard with blue-white control against the top 10 most popular decks in Pioneer according to MTG Goldfish. Now, I played a variant of this deck at the most recent Pioneer RC. I really liked playing it. And let's jump into it by talking about the cards in the sideboard and their roles. So High Noon obviously stops the decks that want to do multiple things in the same turn. Think for like the Rakdos Prowess deck and the Phoenix deck. Knockout Blow is for the aggressive decks, mostly the red aggressive decks. Beza is really good against control, mid-range, and aggro, but is really bad against anything that could be considered combo in any capacity. Aether Gust for red and green decks that we want to tempo out. Mystical Dispute for blue decks. Shark Typhoon is great against mid-range and control decks. Hullbreaker Horror, similarly very good against mid-range and control decks. Really good against control decks. And Dovin's Veto, very good against control decks and combo decks where it's very important we are able to counter things. Now, if you want a deeper analysis about the deck as a whole, I did a deck tech that was posted last week. You should totally check that out. That being said, the most popular deck in Pioneer is Rakdos Prowess. Against the Rakdos Prowess deck, we're bringing in High Noons, Knockout Blows, Bezas, because it allows us to gain life and do cool, awesome stuff. Aether Gust is also pretty decent against the deck, being able to return things. That being said, Farewell is just too slow. Teferi, similarly, is just too slow. It doesn't take over the game like it does against other decks. Narset also doesn't really do anything. 3 Steps Ahead is effectively Cancel against this deck, and Cancel, turns out, isn't very good against this deck. I'm also not a giant fan of Dovin's Veto because we need to be answering the creatures. So this is how I sideboard against Rakdos Prowess. The second most popular deck is the Mirror Match. In the Mirror Match, we're bringing in Beza, and we're really trying to draw cards off of Beza. We're bringing in Mystical Dispute. There's a lot of blue spells that we would love to counter. Shark Typhoon, to both hit our land drops and be able to just like cast and win the game off of. Hullbreaker Horror, because it's kind of a just win button. And Dovin's Veto. We are going to be bringing out High Noon because it doesn't really do anything in this matchup. Temporary Lockdown for similar reasons. Farewell. I'm not really a fan of Supreme Verdict. And we're going to be shaving a few March of Otherworldly Light. I like keeping some amount in just as answers to like weird things my opponent might be bringing in. I think it might also be correct to do something like this, where we bring out we keep in one Supreme Verdict and one March. But in any case, this is how I sideboard in the Mirror Match. The third most popular deck is Izzet Phoenix, where we're going to be bringing in High Noon, so they aren't able to do their crazy combos. Mystical Dispute, because all the scary stuff is blue. And Dovin's Veto. Mostly we're trying to counter like Artist Talent and Treasure Cruise, which are like the big things we're really scared of. I'm going to be bringing out Temporary Lockdown. Doesn't really do anything. Supreme Verdict, similarly, I don't think does much to speak of, because a lot of them are getting off of Ledger Shredder even. And I actually think Farewell's too slow. Like, Exile in the Graveyard is cool, but I just don't think I can do it. If you want to keep Farewell in, I think taking out a Deduce is also fine, but that's how I sideboard against Phoenix. The fourth most popular deck is the Rakdos Midrange deck, featuring Unstoppable Slasher just as a good card. Against this deck, we're bringing in Beza, the Shark Typhoon, and I'm a fan of the Hullbreaker Horror. I'm going to be bringing out High Noon. This doesn't really do anything. Dovin's Veto similarly doesn't do anything. I would rather just answer the creatures. And we want to bring out Temporary Lockdown. Notice we have more cards we want to bring out than bring in, so I think keeping the Dovin's Veto in is totally fine. So this is how I sideboard against Rakdos Midrange. The fifth most popular deck is Jund Sacrifice. Against Jund Sac, I like Aether Gust to be able to deal with the relevant cards, and Dovin's Veto can be pretty decent, just being able to counter, like Fable and Scavenger's Talent and things like that. High Noon doesn't really do anything against this deck. We're going to get rid of Narset as well. And I think Shaven and Teferi is totally fine. They're a combo deck. I'm a little worried about like answering the board rather than actually pulling ahead like Teferi does once you're already ahead. That's how I sideboard against Jund Sacrifice. The sixth most popular deck is Rakdos Transmogrify. Against this deck, we're bringing in Aether Gust. We are bringing in Dovin's Veto. And I'm a fan of Hullbreaker Horror. We need to be able to end the game before they draw into more combo-y things. We're taking out High Noon. I like keeping Temporary Lockdown in because you can get rid of some of the creatures that they're trying to transmogrify and put some pressure on them having to like do it again. However, I like bringing out Farewell because I think the deck's a little too quick for that. I like bringing out a Narset because they aren't really drawing cards to speak of. And then we're just going to shave a Deduce, and this is how we sideboard against Rakdos Transmog. The seventh most popular deck is the mono black splitter twin mid-rangey thing with unstoppable slasher and bloodletter. Against this deck, we are bringing in Beza, Hullbreaker, Horror, and I like Dovin's Veto against this deck because they have a lot of non-creature spells we are very afraid of. We're bringing out Temporary Lockdown. We are bringing out High Noon. And then we are shaving on Deduces because everything else is great. So that's how I sideboard against mono black, demons, and midrange, Splinter Chin, whatever you want to call it. The 8th most popular deck is Lotus Field Combo, also known as Hidden Strings. High Noon is great against this deck. I'm also a fan of Aethergus. We're loving Mystical Dispute. And we love Dovin's Veto. Now we're going to be taking out Temporary Lockdown. Get Lost doesn't really do anything against the deck. There are kind of like corner case games where it can hit a Leer at a relevant time or something, but meh. And we're going to bring out Supreme Verdict and Farewell. And that's how we sideboard against Lotus Field. The 9th most popular deck is Abzan Greasefang. Against Greasefang, I like the Dovin's Vetoes, just additional counter magic I think is pretty important. The issue is we really want to bring out the Temporary Lockdowns and the High Noons. These are important to bring out because they don't really do anything to speak of in the matchup. So we're also going to bring in the Hullbreaker and the Shark Typhoon just cuz. So I sideboard against Greasefang. And the 10th most popular deck is the Enigmatic deck, where we're going to bring in Aethergus, bringing in Mystical Disputes. We are bringing in Dovin's Vetoes, and we're just going to be shaving on Deduce. And that's how I sideboard against Enigmatic. There you have how to sideboard against the top 10 most popular decks in Pioneer with Blue-White Control. If you like videos like this, please be sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on social medias. Links are above me and in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.